Eurovision Song Contest. It's a state of play. It's a state of play.
We have a Eurovision winner.
Get all the updates. Join the conversation with Alesia Michelle.
Sean, who are you wearing?
She did it.
Starting now.
All right, y'all. Okay, welcome. This is our first official Eurovision 2024 State of Play. I am Alesia Michelle. Thank you so much for joining. I am so excited to be here, and I am actually excited to be here because, about a week ago, I was sitting and I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the Eurovision season to begin, and I just wasn't quite feeling that energy. But hey, if you've never been in my channel before, welcome. If you love the Eurovision Song Contest, please consider giving me a subscribe. They're free, and I don't think I bother y'all that much, but I am ready to be here and have some real talk conversation, y'all, right? Like it's time. It's time. We've got 4 artists confirmed, 4 artists: France, Cyprus, Belgium, and Greece. Exciting times. We have our core team in place, and we have a slogan. It's the same slogan that we had last year. All right. So we've got lots of things to cover, but hello to folks who are here watching live. Everyone's loving the new intro so far. I'm ridiculous, y'all. This is my hobby, and this is where you see the hobby of it all manifest. Because when I put that together, I was cracking myself up. I was like, this is ridiculous. But it fits, right? It fits. Okay, so it's meant to be. So y'all, let's just go on and kick it off and talk about the latest news, which was our slogan announcement. And I should probably say the news that really was no news. You know what I mean? Like the fashion show without fashions. How dreadful. So United by Music has been chosen as the permanent slogan for the Eurovision Song Contest. I think people had a lot of feels about it initially because I felt a little bit punked. That's how I felt. I felt punked because I was like, oh, okay, there's a video. I woke up. It was one of the first things I looked at in the morning, and I was like, oh yeah. And they were going through all the different slogans. So I was like, oh yeah, you're about to get me. Oh, okay. All right. I did a video about, do we have momentum? And you are giving me the momentum only for them just to say United by Music. And just leave it at that. So it wasn't so much the fact that for me personally, it wasn't so much the fact that the slogan is going to be United by Music. It was more like, okay, you built me up for nothing. You dropped news that in theory wasn't really news. You know what I mean? That was more where I was at. I was just kind of like, okay. Anyway, so let's see what some of y'all think in the comments. Ness exclamation point says the slogan being permanent feels like they're trying to make Eurovision more of a brand than before, but in a bad way. Superficial Blackberry said the video had so much buildup for nothing. David says, I'm not mad at the permanent slogan. I mean, it's for locals, isn't it? United by Music explains it to them. It's funny because I think I said a few years back, and I can't remember the video, I can't remember the year, but I think I said a few years back that I kind of was like, why don't y'all just have something and stick with it? Because kind of in the school of marketing and branding, that's probably what they'd recommend you to do. In the school of marketing and branding, it's kind of like, no, just keep it the same, keep it consistent. And that's kind of what a best practices would tell you. So then you have that level of consistency with, yes, a brand. And I also have been a kind of person where I'm like, the slogan, the stage design, the logo. I never really fed into a lot of that discourse because I was like, it's really about the songs. It's about the artists. It's about the performances. I think the hosts make more of an impact than the slogan. Yes, it is part of like the merch, the branding, and all of those things. But to me, I just am like, I'm mostly here for the songs and the artists. That's like really my position. And so I would say from a 360 degree view, I'm like, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But I think given the fact that I think some of us are feeling like it's a little bit of a dry season, we need to kind of get that PR machine up and running and just kind of churning so that like, the momentum is there. This did not do that. This didn't do it. Like, if this is going to be part of like kind of your communications arc, your narrative building, this did not do that. And I think a thing about the stage, the slogan and everything, that can be an integral part of like building your communication strategy and narrative arc. And I'm not trying to preach to these people. I know that they are professionals. So I guess the people I need to be calling out. So what was it? It was like, so Ebba is in the comms team, I think. And yeah, Ebba is in the comms team, so I'm not trying to slight them per se, but I'm just sure there was somebody else in the room who was like, but is this the year to do that? And I just think in a year that maybe needed a little bit more oomph, needed a little bit more light, this might have not been the year to do that. But let me hop back into the comments to see what y'all are talking about. So, Dakaza says, is the slogan really that important? United by Music is good and better than having cheesy ones. I agree with that. Wilhelm says, we will get a new logo and artwork though, right? I think so. I think we are going to get new logo and artwork. Ebba did say in the quote that they are working on, kind of like the design pieces now and that they would be released soon. So we will see that. Amani says, I think the slogan is important. It was giving a theme in some way to each edition. Now, we have to remember, historically speaking, there wasn't always. They've only had it since like 2002. Yeah, 2002. So it's not like this is some long-standing thing, in the grand scheme of the Eurovision Song Contest. So I think that's also helpful perspective to have. Felix P says, at first I was really disappointed, but I mean, I have accepted it though. Although this marketing is starting to feel like a trend, X Factor scandal. I don't know if, I don't know what the yeah. Explain more, Felix. Explain more. I will try to hop in. ESC George says, I much prefer the slogan of 2017 to be permanent. Celebrate diversity. Well, but they had to be realistic with what goes on sometimes. And I mean that diversity of sound, diversity of rewarding points, diversity of our core team and people on the stage and whatnot. So let's, they could be aspirational with it, but, the slogan should maybe make up what we're working with. Aaron says, I looked at all the previous year's designs with the permanent slogan and they just look so mismatched and it took away from the creativity of the theme. Well, here's the thing. Now the creative person will be able to have this standard piece. It allows them maybe to get started earlier because they're not waiting on a slogan for the design. So if we're thinking productivity, might not be so bad. Yeah. So Michael says, United by Music being permanent emphasizes that Eurovision is about music to someone who has never heard about Eurovision. Correct. I don't think it's bad. I don't think anyone's saying it's bad. Yeah, I think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. Augusto says, although it makes sense on why United by Music is good to keep it running for years, I will miss when host countries are given the chance to personalize their hosting year on that realm. So I get it. I think it is, but they will have other opportunities to do that. Dallas, Alesia, do we know if it's going to be the same graphics as last year or different every year? I think the graphics will be different. I do think they said they're working on the design, so I do think that'll be different. Yeah. Wisteria says they wanted in 2023 to bring all artists to the stage for Oh, yeah. We know about that. That didn't happen. Yeah. So yes, we know about that. Sorry. I think that was referencing like what you meant about the Felix thing. I don't think this was as bad as that though. I don't think that this is as bad as that. I think for us, it just felt like a really boring announcement when everyone seems to be hungering for something a little bit more exciting, something a little bit more with like an oomph, So, yeah. And Quincy King, and so we'll wrap up the slogan piece. Quincy King says, let's be real. Sweden's production would have done a good job either way regarding logo and slogan. Yes. We're not worried about that. So, although the slogan, I think it just fell flat. The slogan announcement just fell flat because obviously something that would be news that is ultimately no news would fall flat. Because it was basically like, here you go. Same shit we did last year. It's like, okay, thank you. Like, it was not that. So, Alistair says, will having the same slogan every year not be difficult to have a new design as the years go on? Only so much you can do with the same slogan. I don't believe in that because I work with a ton of creative people every day and I feel that I'm somewhat of a creative and it's like, let's just keep pushing the envelope. I think it's just 3 words. It's 3 words. You can design whatever you want around that. And maybe this even opens up an opportunity for the design elements to really shine through. As opposed to us like kind of leaning on just the words of it all. So it was no news, but I'm not necessarily mad at the news. All right, let's move on and talk about France. How are you feeling about France's song? I want to know how y'all feel. And for anyone who's kind of like, well, where is your reaction? Here's the thing. The video, the last time I checked, wasn't on the official Eurovision channel. I can check now. But I was like, well, if it ain't there, then I'm not gonna, then I won't react to it. Because to me, that tells me like, oh, like maybe they're gonna do something else or whatever. So because the video is not on the official channel, that is why I am pausing. But I will say I did listen to the song. It was like playing on another window and I wasn't really watching it. So like, let's talk about France. The man seems like he can dress. The man seems like he can sing. And when I say seems like he can sing live, he was on The Voice, so it's like we have all of these videos of him performing live online. And I will tell you, for some other Voice and Idol contestants that we have had, where then I like look back at like their performances on there, I'm like, oh, you want to send that person to Eurovision? Because like the vocal doesn't feel consistent to me. He is not in that case. His vocal is very consistent, proficient. It sounds great. So let me see what y'all are talking about with France. All right, let's kick it off with David. Love France. Beautiful. Just worried what Italy will do now. France stole their girl. Danielle says, as days go on, I like it less than I did on my initial listen, and I did like it very much. Augusto, I like Slimane. He can sing. He will deliver. The song, on the other hand, well, they're trying the male power ballad, but it's not hitting like it's supposed to. Aurelien, it's my country, and I was a little bit disappointed with it. Slimane has better songs than this. Aaron, if they wanted to release the song early, it should have been a final product, but the production is so lazy. A decent start, but just a strange release. Willem says, loving Mon Amour. Think it will do very well. Gospodin, it's 3 out of 5 for me. It has good moments, but sounds the same the whole time. I prefer Du Vite since many fans compare those. And then we got Lex talking about I love France. And then Felix, France, thank you. Jury winner vibes, his voice, the emotion, the buildup, and he has experience. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all what I think about it. Okay, let me start from the beginning. It sounds good. I like it. Let me start there. I like it. I think that this will be delivered live well. I feel a confidence with him as a performer. So that's 50%. I think the delivery will be good. The staging, my sense is that France is going to stage it kind of like whatever that video was, because that's basically what they did last year. Essentially, they did, and I said this in my reaction that I was like, oh, they'll probably stage it. Like, I don't know why people are worried about the staging, because in this kind of performance video that we have with Lazara, I'm like, I think they're telling us what the staging is going to be. Here's the thing. I am concerned, what Italy is going to give, because Europe likes what Italy gives. I tend to like what Italy gives too. Here's the thing. I didn't love Du Vite. It's weird because I wish that I would have just listened to the 3-minute version first, because the 3-minute version hit for me like all the beats. The pacing was just right. And so I almost kind of wish that I heard it first, but because I didn't, there was like times when I was like, oh, I'm just not in the mood to listen to it. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was like amazing. I didn't think it was great. But here's the thing. It still did very well at Eurovision. It still did well. So France is giving us something that is probably solid and safe and we know the execution is probably going to be good. So I think it will do well. But it wasn't arresting enough for me to really feel like this is stirring something like within me and giving me like an itch. Whereas even if we think back to Voila, when it hit, there was an itch of like, oh, this is going to do really well. Like, it's going to do really well. I never thought Voila was going to win. On record, I never thought it was going to win. So I didn't have that feeling of that. But I was like, this has to be like top 3, top 5, right? But I didn't think it was going to win. So, I think the jury will appreciate this. But I do wonder about how people at home will consume it, because a little bit it's like the mood. But ultimately, I think it's good. I think it's solid. And I don't want to be premature and really trying to track where it's going to be. And we can talk about this later, because I have thoughts on what my expectations are for the whole of Eurovision like this year. So France, let me hop into the comments. Gustav says the French delegation was just too excited this year. They could barely wait a month. David, France feeding the jury. DeCaza says on his story, he was practicing some pink type acrobatic stuff, and he said he's going to give us an amazing show. The staging is going to be good. We'll see. We'll see. OO says, I'm hoping this pushed Italy towards a female artist. Well, Italy's not checking for anybody, though. You know what I mean? And they shouldn't have to. They haven't had to. They're gonna sail, pick the best song, and they will be fine. And I honestly, if Italy wants to send like a male ballot, let's be real. It's France who's gonna have to be worried. It's France who's gonna have to be worried. Not Italy, That's why I'm like, I don't know. Iasimo, I promised myself I won't listen to it until January, because other than that, I will get tired of it in May. I heard a snippet though, and I don't know how to feel. Aaron says it's giving Bridges vibes. Vocal focus with really high jury score and more lower end televote. Thanos says, I still think it's so early for releasing a song. France have made a mistake. I don't know. Sometimes it's good to be early and good, though, because then everyone has to compete with you, sort of. But I also think sometimes, like, you really want to fall right in the middle, like, of releasing your song. You don't want to be at the very end. You want to be, like, right in the middle, because being too early, yes, you run the risk some people can get sick of a song. I am Stevan. Asks, how many countries do you think will compete? I don't know. The rumor is 41, right? We better have at least 40, though. That's where I'm at. I think we need to have at least 40. ESC George says, there's always room for a revamp. Well, y'all know my overall opinion on revamps is, why couldn't you just get it right the first time? Here's the thing that I think is missing from France's song. Missed opportunity to add something ethnic in it. We needed some, and I've heard some of his other tracks and he plays around with it a little bit. So if we're gonna get a revamp, it better have something ethnic in it. Like, because it's just a missed opportunity not to. And it wouldn't feel inauthentic. It's authentic to him as the performer. And I mean, yes, like, we're getting sort of that French chanson feel to a certain degree. But, like, France, if you couldn't win, it's just weird for me because I have seen France as a country that wants to win Eurovision. I see them. Like, I see that they're hungry for it and they want it. And, like, this ain't that. Like, this ain't that. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. This ain't that. Like, if France wants to win, this ain't that. So, yeah. Let's wrap it up on France, because what else is there really to be said? Let's dig into, I did a video talking about the artist that I am most excited for, or like, you know, I have the most kind of like, ooh, like, what are you going to do? And for me, of the confirmed artists that we have right now, I am most excited for Greece. I feel like she's intriguing. I'm curious what type of song we're going to get. I'm curious about her as a performer. I think this idea of doing a national selection to kind of select her song would be good, like kind of like Roxanne's style. The reason why I kind of like that is it gives the artist a little bit of time to perfect and perform, bring the song to life. And it gives us a taste to see like, okay, can we put our eggs in this basket or not? So for me, Marina is who I am most excited about. But I will say, like, you know, Musti, I think is going to give me something that I'm going to like. I just, because it's giving dark electro pop. And I'm like, I tend to like that. So yeah. Gospodin says, if France kept doing Destination Eurovision, they would have already won. I tend to agree with that, but I do think sometimes they didn't always pick right. So that's why it's always challenging with the national selection. But, you know, you run that risk. Felix, do you think Bulgaria and Montenegro are coming back? I think Montenegro is coming back. I don't think Bulgaria is coming back. Not this year. I don't think so. I would love it. But I think it might still be too soon. I think they need a little bit more time to save up their money. K-pop 24/7. Greek language flopped lately, so I'm scared they'll give her an English song. But she is the type of artist that I think could give us something in Greek that would hit. Aaron, Marina Sati says she'll be picking her song and she's going to pick something modern, Greek, and with lots of dancing. She's definitely coming with something strong. Well, we'll have to see it executed. You know, it's all about the execution. Gospodin says, I'm interested for Belgium the most. It could be something like Netherlands 2019. It could. I kind of hope not, though. We need something a little bit grungier with a little bit more of a beat, I think. Because then if we're doing Netherlands 2019, then Belgium's instantly competing with France. I don't know if they want to do that. Because we know Belgium struggles with the staging. They struggle with the staging. That's their biggest issue. France, is it crazy? I'm saying I almost have more faith in France to stage than Belgium. That's just because Belgium has historically been so bad. So we'll see. Kelladori, I feel like Greece will give us an ethnic bop. They should. They should give us something like a little bit funky too. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like give us a little bit of like a little urban edge with the mix of ethnic, which is something that she already does so well. So that's why I'm like, ooh, that could be really good. Willem also really excited for Marina. 5Zay says, what about Australia? What is happening? I think Australia is competing. I just think Australia doesn't really know who they're going to have rep them yet. That's my itch. I don't know if I think they've got options, but they haven't really nailed down. So it's kind of like, ooh, what are we really trying to do? So yeah. Phenomenal says Benidorm Fest this year is looking stronger. The artists are lesser known in Spain, but the teams have gotten ready a lot quicker this year, and there's apparently going to be some changes. So I'm curious for Benidorm. I want to get into the songs because they had like some songs I liked last year. So some of them I got sick of, which I am in the minority because when I first was listening to Noche Entera, I liked it. And then I got sick of that one real quick, but then I got embarrassed by Fusa. Lord. Like just screaming and yelling at us and looking at us confused the entire time. Awful. Terrible. Dino, I want Belgium to bring something more alternative than arcade. Same. Okay, who will win Eurovision 2024? We should all be praying for a Balkan. We should all be praying for a Balkan. Yeah. Yeah. ESC George, have you listened to the MESC song? So that's Malta's national selection. I most certainly have not. No, I'm not going to choose to do that. I'll tell you, the national selections I'm really like, that I feel like I'm going to be diving into, obviously UMK, obviously FDC, my regulars. SD Lau's going to get me this year. I've already decided. Like, SD Lau's going to get me this year. Benidorm, obviously, it'll be good. San Remo, I think I might take a step back. Last year, I was a little bit more into San Remo than this year. I think I'm going to take a step back from San Remo, just see, like, whoever wins, hop into it. Melfest, I'm kind of not really checking for this year, I'll be real. I'm just like, yeah, let's just see who you get. I wasn't really checking for Melfest last year either. Especially with the announcement of Loreen, it's like, okay, she just needs to go. And I didn't want to get my feelings hurt. And then I'll periphery peek into Norway's national selection, but that's probably, and then obviously Serbia. Like, I enjoyed that experience so much. I mean, they gave me so many songs that I could still listen to. You know what I mean? So like Serbia is maybe like an obvious. I'm probably not going to hop into Slovenia's, even though historically Slovenia's national selection has, like, I think given some really good things. But, someone said UMK, question mark. That's the first one that I mentioned. That's the first one that I mentioned. Someone said, what about Vidbeer? I never really follow Vidbeer. I don't know if y'all noticed that. I never really follow it. Like, I don't know. It's something about the timing. It's just, I never really follow it. And then I think all the times that I've tried to watch it, I think it's the language barrier of the show. And so then I'm like, I'm just not able to follow. But Vidveer, I never really follow. But I also think I don't follow it because I'm like, I trust Ukraine to pick the best thing. I just trust, I think that's why. I don't feel like I have to monitor it. I just am like, it's going to be good. So, like, there's no need to hop in too deeply. And they've got a lot of songs, but yeah, I think, yeah. Someone said in Portugal, I already said FDC. That was the second country that I mentioned. I said UMK and then I said FDC, obviously. So yeah, I those are the national selections that I'm going to be hopping into quite a fair amount, I would say. Is there more that I'm following than not? Like, that's my question. Is there more that I'm choosing to kind of hop in and follow than not? It feels that way because I feel like I listed a lot, but I can't do that many. I got to pick and choose. And I enjoyed hopping back into the national selections last year, and my heart really wasn't like broken, but I was side-eyeing heavily some countries with the ultimate results that they ended up. So yeah, let's talk about the production team. Krister's back. So let's talk about the production team because we gotta kind of hit on like who's gonna be responsible people in the room. So who we can direct our commentary, complaints, and hopes and dreams to. So Krister being involved, I feel really good about that, y'all. We should feel really, really good about that. Yeah, yeah, I feel good about the team. I will be having a microscope a little bit on our head of sound, which honestly, it's funny because I got the email of like head of sound and whatnot. And then when I looked, let me see. And then when I looked at this like article, they didn't have it listed. So I think they took that person down because, over here we know where to direct our complaints to. And maybe those people don't want complaints directed to them, aka Bob Edwards. AKA Bob Edwards. So I feel like this is going to be a solid production. Are any of y'all, in the comments, is anyone worried about that? Like, I'm not, like, I don't think we should be worried about that. We're talking SVT, we're talking Swedish production, we're talking a team of folks who have done this before, for some, and we're talking about, folks who get to do this with Melfest and the involvement there. I would really like to know if there are any of you out there who are concerned. I will even hold the space of silence. Hmm. Okay. I think we're all in agreement. So I just want that to be clear. Because I don't want any people, because there's like, I feel like there's like haters on the internet, but then there's like, I don't know really the name, but it's like, perpetual victims too, where it's just like, everyone's just attacking us and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? We all think the show is going to be good. Okay? We all think the show is going to be good. I'm not worried. So, Ignacio, or Ignonito says, I'm not worried, I just don't like Swedish production. Okay, different strokes. Amani says, I'm not worried, I just have really high expectations. As we should. This is the Eurovision Song Contest. We should. So, production team, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling solid about that. I'm getting some questions about this. And maybe I'm like, maybe I've gone too back into the comments. And basically the question was just, overall, do I think this is going to be a strong year? And maybe that's the thing. So yeah. I will see. So basically the question was just like, yeah, do I think that this will be a strong year song-wise? No. No. And I'm saying no because I'm like, maybe this is just me giving a mantra to myself to mediate my expectations. Because here's the thing. From my perspective, I think the music industry is like kind of in the crapper by and large. And I feel like when you've got, like, it's just crazy to me because it's so obvious when you get like a really good like song, and a song that, transcends genres. Like I would say for this past year, Flowers. Like, I can buy myself flowers. It was just so like leagues above like a lot of other tracks this year. Like, you get what I'm saying? And y'all know I'm not really a Swiftie. I'm not the demographic, not my genre, but even I can give credit, like looking at the lyrics of like the Anti-Hero song and go like, this is a well-written song. I won't go to the concert. I'm not listening to it in my car, but like I can objectively be like, oh, like this is like for a pop song. It's so obvious now when the song is really good and rising to the occasion because there's just so much garbage around it. Beyonce Carter Knowles says, but it's too early to say though. The question is asking me to predict it. I'm not saying that it will be bad. I'm just saying like, if the question is, do I think it'll be a strong or a weak year? Like, if you're asking me, I'm mediating my personal expectations, and I am not expecting this to be like banger after banger after banger. So yeah, I just Wisteria says, I agree that musical scene is weaker recently, but Eurovision song wise recently have been strong. I don't feel like last year was a strong year. I don't feel that. I think we had a lot of like genre diversity, which I can give gold stars to that. But like I'm not listening to any songs from last year, Tattoo included. I'm just not. But that's just me personally. If you're asking me the question, that's just me. I'm not listening to any of the songs. But that is why I'm kind of, I think, like SD Lau, I'm going to hop into, because historically speaking, I always kind of enjoyed my SD Lau experience. I would always be let down, not always, but more often than not, I was let down by the winner, but I enjoyed the songs. And so I think that's why I'm kind of hungry to hop into SD Lau a little bit. Like Benidorm, I will be happy when the songs drop. I will hop into those just as like a little bit of a palate cleanser. And honestly, for me last year, I was hanging on to my national selection playlist like far longer than the official like Eurovision playlist. ESC George, Alesia, do you have wishes for Eurovision 2024? One of them for me is to see Ireland, Georgia, and Latvia in the grand final. That would be a lofty wish. I don't think we're going to get all, I don't know. Because honestly, if I were Georgia, I would feel discouraged after last year, because it was like they kind of did everything right. You know, I think the execution could have been better in the end. I don't think the running order like helped the song. And I do think, you know, the staging, I think could have been more optimal to really make the song memorable and pop. And I do think, unfortunately, technically the sound did not help. We needed more levels in it, and it felt like she was like kind of yelling, you know, but that's like, I think it could have been mediated with the sound, and it was not. I would love to see Ireland get it together. Ireland, of these three, Ireland I most deeply want to see get it together. Latvia, I just kind of feel like, what the hell do you want them to do? Like, I don't feel like it's just that they have the streak that they have right now. It doesn't feel just. It doesn't feel right. So I just, yeah. So I would say of what you've written, ESC George, of your listing, I would like to see Ireland get it together. Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah, I stuck with the 2021 and 2022 playlist way longer than 2023. Yeah, and I'm not even saying that 2022 was like a super strong year, but I did hold on to those songs a little bit longer, for me personally. Smart Simpleton, have you seen the recent interview with the Irish delegation? I didn't watch it, but the reason why I didn't watch it is because I do think I've heard a lot of the same things from them, and really Ireland needs the right artist and the right song. That's really all it takes. You can have all of these dynamics of lack of funds, lack of support at the broadcaster, understaffing, teams being stretched. You can experience all of that, truly. But the thing that will turn that around is the right artist and the right song. And to identify that, I don't think takes that much. And I think you've got people in this community who are willing to help you do that for free. That's what I would say. Bruno, had they chose Aminata in 2022, Latvia would have been in the final. Honestly, I do agree with that. I actually think Aminata could have, because she could have squeaked through and taken one of the sad boys, I think. But that, here. K-pop 24/7, 2024 will have a lot of pop girlies, and I'm so here for it. I don't know if I would make that prediction. I don't know. Pop girlies? I don't know. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know if that's what we're actually going to get. Faith, Australia needs to go. They're not part of Europe geographically. Faith, get out. They're there. I mean, Azerbaijan is there. Like, Morocco has participated. Clearly, that's not the criteria. You know. But Simple Things, only song I listened to from this year is Cha Cha Cha. All the others, to be honest, have been forgotten by me. I really have to think what song represented certain countries. Ugh. Ay, 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 ay. Larindi, can we see Germany around top 10 this year? Pretty please, they need it. Germany's another country. I'm like, y'all just don't see it for them. Why? Last year, Germany deserves so much more. But I will tell you, I think Germany is on the right track. I do feel that. I feel Germany is on the right track, and hopefully they will be rewarded for being on the right track. I hope. I hope. Simple Things. I don't want loads of pop girlies. Want something different. Pablo says, no pop girlies in Benidorm Fest. Yeah, I've got my Benidorm list. Hold on. Where's my Benidorm list? Let me review. Yeah, where is it? Cause yeah, we got, okay. Yeah, we're going through the list. So Almacore. Okay. Okay, I'm cool. He looks cool. Looks young. We got Angie. Angie's giving artsy girl, out of the box, different. We got Dela Cruz, who's given round the way boy. We got Jorge, who's given, triceps, pecs, face, and full lips. So either he's going to be singing a ballad or some, I want to love you, girl, or whatever. We got Lyrica, who's given roundaway urban dudes. Mantra's a group, giving us artsy, maybe, aesthetic music. We got Maria, who's going to give us traditional. We got Marlena, who's giving us, artsy girls. Miss Caffeina, out of the box, something. Nebuloso, artsy girl. She got a heart on a thing. Okay, girl. Okay, giving artsy, giving art. We got Noan. Oh, that's good. Is it known or Noan? I like that spelling. I like that name. Okay, come on now. He's given low-key, he's given progressive Christian rock. We got Kike Niza, artsy sad boy. Roger, another artsy sad boy. And then we got Sophia. Okay. Ooh. Artsy girl, but maybe there's some pop in there. Maybe there's a little bit of bop. She got some stripper heels on, so maybe she's going to give us a dip and do it moment. St. Pedro, sad boy. Yoli, artsy. She's cute. Okay, yeah, so Benidorm's not even giving us a pop girly for real. Not on the surface level. Ooh, okay. Okay, so Gospodin says, so we manifest Balkan win 2024. I mean, haven't we been trying to manifest for a while? It's not working. It's not working. Okay, so let's get to the portion that's just like Q&A. Speculation. So drop your questions in the chat. We've hit the things. We talked about the slogan announcement, aka the news with no news. We talked about France. We're liking the song. We're kind of curious about Sloman, but maybe we're nervous in the long run for him. How will this fare? Will we be comparing him to Italy? Is Italy going to give us a song that's going to best what France is doing? Because France is kind of stealing a little bit of Italy sauce. We talked about the production team. We have faith in Sweden. We have faith in them. We think they're going to do it. We talked about the national selections. We're getting hyped for and everything. We talked a little bit about my hopes and dreams, but yeah. All right, let's hop into the chat. Who has some questions and hopes and dreams? Q&A. Let's get into the conversation. All right, so Smart Simpleton. What direction do you think Benidorm will take after last year's televote result for Spain? Go for something traditional, cultural again, or go the Chanel route and bring forth a Latin pop song? I think that Spain is going to give us a bop. I think that we are going to get I think it's going to be something. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Rico Suave, pecs, biceps, full lips, girl, let me love you. I could see something like that winning. I could see us getting, like, it would be pop, but like a little bit, maybe like pop power ballad with a little bit of like, let me love you, girl. That's what I think. Bastian says, what do you think about the Roop wanting to come back to ESC? Okay, come on down. If you got something good, I'm ready for it. Okay, I'm ready for it. I have no idea. Says, what are your thoughts on Elsa Lilla entering Festival of Kangas this year again? Perhaps she could be the Balkan when we're manifesting so much. I want to see it for Albania, but they might need more momentum. They might need a little bit more momentum to get them all the way there. Novimpia, hey. Do you think the UK will just return to bad from now? I am optimistic for the UK. I think the UK is going to win in the next 5 years. I've been saying that, and I've been detracting years, so I'm on top. I think I said win in the next 10 years at one point, and so I'm going to say in the next 5 years. I think that the UK could get it done. I don't know if this is the year, though. Could this be the year? It could. You know what song? Hold on, y'all, and I hope YouTube's gonna, they're gonna clap back at me for this. But this is the song, and it was released after. I tweeted it out. This is the song I want the UK to send from Lola Young. Here we go. Y'all know this song? Okay, I don't want you YouTube to get me. Can we call Lola? Get her to Eurovision. I don't know who, and we don't have to worry about tap management. We need somebody, call up Lola Young. I want her at Eurovision. I think she could win. I think that song could win, but that's where I'm living. Paul says, hello, Alesia. What do you think of the fact that Italy, Sweden, and Ukraine are the countries with the most top 10 finishes in the last 10 years? And what should the other countries do to get at that level? Number one, give a shit. That's step one. Care. Italy, Sweden, and Ukraine kind of care. Italy, the caring is the thing is, they kind of care because they're at least using Sanremo, this, kind of platform that is like, this is who's like top in like our country. So there's like a little level of that. So I think there's like a caring in that way. Sweden, we know, cares. They try hard. Sometimes they try too hard, and then it feels trite. It feels manufactured. It doesn't feel authentic. And that's where Sweden falls down, is when they have the songs where it's just like we've heard this before. Ukraine, with them, they are true to themselves. Ukraine and Italy, very true to themselves. That's like really the piece. It's authentic. You can't really say that Italy or Ukraine are coming up with anything manufactured. It just feels authentic. It feels like what they're doing. So that's like my three sauce things. Also, I think they are countries that have a national selection. And I'm not saying like you have to have the national selection. We've obviously seen internal selections like win. If you know you've got the sauce, why test it with the public when the public might not make the right decision, or the juries might try and like do some funny business. Like, why test it? But I do think, and I said this earlier in the stream, it gives the artist and the public some momentum. It allows them to tweak and see, like, I perform this live, like, this is what I need to improve, like, this is where we can amplify. So it does create this nice test case. So that's kind of my advice. I think the countries that fall down sometimes, like, it's either try hard or like the case of or you've got some markets where we're not really seeing a lot of seasoned talent come to the stage, so it's not seasoned in the songwriting, it's not seasoned in the production, it's not seasoned in the execution. And like they might just need a little bit more time to like really get more polished for the Eurovision stage. So, yeah. Next question, RF. Just as a host country, what country would be ideal to host and visit? Good weather, food, people, and cheap. Greece. Greece. Right? Good weather, good food. With their economic situation, I think it's better now. But like Greece is not a terribly expensive place. Lots of hotels and stay options. I'm going with Greece. But like Portugal's good. They're not that bad. Spain, we'd have to figure out where it would be in Spain. But, Spain could be affordable. If we're going to go up to the Nordics, Finland, not so much good weather, not so much good weather. And like the cheapness is cheap for a Nordic, cheap for a Nordic. So that's what I would say. But if you ask me holistic, I'm going with Greece. I'm going with Greece. Yeah. Harry says it would be cool if there was a first-time winner this year. It's always cool when there's a first-time winner, right? Right? Yeah. Maiden says, I smell a possible Baltic win next year. If it happened, Estonia wants to cleanse themselves from, everybody. Wait, isn't that Estonia? Right? Yeah. They want to cleanse themselves from that. And I do think Esti Lau sometimes has like some real gems in there. So, but I do think sometimes with Esti Lau, they end up going with like the safer option. And so that's my only flag with Estonia. Latvia, I'd love to see it for them. Because I think there have been times when Latvia has really done like the out of the box, like cool thing. But Latvia's they've got to get their footing a little bit. Lithuania's always like a sleeper. It's always kind of, well, like I should say, or potpourri. You kind of like never know what you're gonna get, right? I don't know. Ignonino says, Alesia, what do you think Poland will do? I hope something good. There's rumors that Poland is going to do an internal selection. I've heard the streets talking about that. If they're going to go internal, I would look at some of the people we had last year. I think there's 3 folks I would maybe look at from last year and figure it out. I'd love to see Poland get it together, especially since they were like junior powerhouses. So it's like, let's get them at the big show. Halil says, you think we're going to have an expected winner with everything that's going on in the moment? I don't know if I wouldn't say related to everything that's going on in the moment, but I do think this year, I think we're going to be in for another, like the betting odds predicted the winner situation. I also think that, because I'm thinking that this year's not going to be that strong, I think it'll be very clear the 5 songs that have a chance to win. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at right now. Oh my goodness, so many comments. Gospodin says, I feel Estonian win is coming maybe this year. Maybe. KM23. What do you think about another Belgian win? Their last winner was long ago, and they've been sending quality every year. Well, the problem with Belgium is the execution. That's always been the problem. I think Belgium has some nice momentum after last year. And I do think Musti seems like an interesting artist that I think could deliver a win. I'm very hopeful and optimistic for Belgium this year. I'll be real. But where I always have my pause of optimism with them is the execution, which honestly, we all should. So we just all need to stand on the neck of the Belgian team's broadcaster in hopes that they will get it together. That would be my hope. FF says, should the betting odds be private? The way that betting works, technically, can't it not be private? Because people are able to do like the over under. I'm not a betting person. So I'm like, I don't know how it works, but I think like, doesn't it kind of have to be public so then the people like function their bets in that way? I don't know. I do think the betting odds being in play in the long run probably is not the best thing for the Eurovision Song Contest, but some people want to bet on things. Dino is asking me, what do you think of Cilia, the Cypriot artist? I kind of have a video where I talked about her. So it was like, yeah, I think, yeah. So I don't want to like repeat myself, but like, I'm concerned. I think she could give us something dope, but I think it's 50-50. It could either be great or it could end up being a mess. I think it's one or the other. I don't think it'll be just okay. I think it'll either be like, ooh, fire, girl, do it. Or it'll be like, oh, like you might just not have been ready for this. And so then I've got Ed Venus is asking, what do you think of the EBU being so secretive about the participant list? Still trying to persuade some nations? Short answer, yes. I think that they are still talking to countries and trying to convince them. I think they are trying to figure out monetary situations because some of these countries might be like, we only have this much money to spend. We only have this much money to spend. So since we only have this much money to spend, like, what can you do for us? You know what I mean? So I think they are then trying to figure out scenarios for some of those countries to do it. KM23 is asking, do you think SVT will bring back the juries to the semifinals? No. I don't think the juries will be back in the semifinals. I think they're going to keep this experiment going for at least like 4 more years or 3. And then they'll reassess from there. But no, I don't think the juries will be back in the semifinals this year. And then we've got, Mark says, do you think the rest of the world should get an entry at Eurovision? No. Arrest delay is probably linked to getting backlash for Israel on the list, to be honest. I haven't really like participated in this discourse, but like, this is where I think I said this like when Russia was removed from Eurovision and like the EBU. I remember saying, obviously from my political hat and like political perspective, like Russia is clearly like a bad actor, like clearly. But I'm like, to me, that's like, and I'm going to do this equivalency. Like, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I didn't go door knocking for him, but he was the president of the United States for 4 years. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with me? And like my beliefs, like I didn't vote for him. I don't agree with like most of the wild ass shit that he says. So like, then does that mean I can't like cover Eurovision because it's like we don't want those opinions? So I'm like, there has to be a separation from governments and the people, like to a certain degree. And if Eurovision is supposed to be this like beacon and is supposed to be, you know, I would say like above it and not in the fray. I just was like, I wonder like what the slippery slope of this is, because I mean, obviously we know there are like Russian like singers and artists who do not agree, who openly speak out against Putin, which is like a dangerous thing to do. And like, should they not have the platform of Eurovision? You know what I mean? Like they don't agree with what they're doing. So I think that's sort of my position. So why would we exclude like an Israeli artist who might not agree with all of the decisions of their government from the vehicle of like Eurovision? It's like a slippery slope. Yeah. Jace says, do you think the rest of the world vote should be expanded, meaning that different continents have their own set of points to give out? They just started the rest of the year, the rest of the world vote. So like, let's just let that play out. Let's just let that play out. The Prodigy is asking me, hi Alesia, would you like to see Sophie Ellis Baxter represent UK? I don't know who that is. So I don't know. Fivs or Fives A says, do you think Sweden can win for a second consecutive time? I mean, no. And the reason why I say no is because like Melfest last year, to me, like Tattoo was the option. I know some of y'all liked Air, and then there was like another young girl who had a little cute bop in there, but to me, none of the rest of the things that I heard snippets of were worthy of the Eurovision stage, let alone a Eurovision win. So to me, I don't have a ton of confidence in the Melody Festival and vehicle that like, oh yeah, you're just gonna have like banger after banger currently. Because to me, it's like they really had like one option, or if anything, like maybe two options. So I don't know. Yeah, and I guess some of y'all are talking about the Sophie thing. No more legacy artists for, yeah, I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry. I don't know who Sophie, I think it was. And so like, we're going to wrap up the questions, but Smart Simpleton, which of these countries from the Big Five do you see having a major comeback this year? Germany or the UK? I have more, here's the thing. Logically, it should be the UK. To me, the UK has an amazing music scene, so in theory, it should be the UK. However, Germany, to me, I felt like they had some options in their national selection. Like, I think that they really had some options to pick from. Europe ultimately didn't vibe with what they selected. And also, you know, Germany had a band, and we did have last year being a little bit of like the battle of the bands. So maybe they kind of cannibalized each other to a certain degree. But, you know, I don't know. So I think in theory, with my logic, Smart Simpleton, the UK should be able to have a comeback this year on the Eurovision stage. I am optimistic that they will make that happen. SC98 asks quickly, do you see France winning this year? No, I don't, but it's like mad early. And like I said at the beginning, you know, I actually like France's song, and I don't feel like we're going to have a strong year. But again, I might just be saying we won't have a strong year to mediate my expectations. Maybe that. Yeah, so that's the world that I am living in. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you have not already, please like this video and please subscribe. I have so much content coming for you. I've got a new theme song, like not just a new video. I've got a new theme song. I won't drop it right now. We'll kick it off in my next video. But thank you all for talking. We had so much news. You know, we've been sitting here kind of feeling like it was like a little bit dry. And now we kicked off our first state of play. So much to talk about, and I couldn't get to everything. But I will be back. Keep an eye on my channel. I will schedule another state of play because I know, like, we're going to wait. I'm going to wait until December. Before Junior, I'll wait until December. We'll come back together because we're going to have more information. We'll probably have a couple of songs that we can talk about from some of these national selections. So please, if you haven't already, please like this video. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get excited for Eurovision 2024. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.